They didn't use the power that they was to develop themselves. They used their power and sold it out for slavery to somebody else. To somebody else. That same energy that they gave to the European to help develop his sciences and his reality could have been used to develop their own individual selves, to develop their own community. Give you an example. We go out and build for this European. There are a lot of carpenters and electricians in our community. A lot of housing developers. But whose houses are they developing? You say somebody, they say they're a carpenter, and you go look in their own house, and they don't shit work. They're a plumber, and you go in their house, you can't even flush the toilet. So where is their power going? They're not giving it to themselves, because they have associated money with power. Now we're going deep now. They think money is power. But if you lay some money on the ground, it's going to lay there until it just deteriorates. It takes the power of human transaction for that dollar bill to move from one hand to another. That's power in the human. Is this right? Mm-hmm. So a dollar don't have no power. There is no economic power without human power. And the only economic power is the movement of humans. But where have we as black humans been moving to? And who have we been moving for? So black nationalism begins, and black power becomes something realizable when we start moving for ourselves, motivated by ourselves. But you all hear him say that. Money is power. I'll get money, I have some power. That's somebody who don't recognize themselves. You lay a corpse on the table and throw money all on top of him. He ain't getting up. Did you hear what I just said? Lay a man in a coffin and fill it with money and see if it's enough power in that money to get his ass up out the coffin. Once the power is in him that's gone, that he never realized. Because he was chasing an external symbol of power. Money is a symbol for how we pimping human beings. The European's currency system is a symbol for how he's utilizing the masses' energy and labor to create his reality. It's just a symbol of, we know that when the money's moving, that these niggas is moving our agenda. Huh? And when he knows that there's a deficit and that the money's not moving, he said, well, these niggas must not be leaving the house. Did y'all hear what I just said? Mm-hmm. So the money is just a symbolic representative of that everything is moving along to represent them. That's why their face is on it. It is showing. People think having an American flag out your window is patriotism. No. His dollar is patriotism. Did y'all hear what I just said? Having his money is a patriotic position. That's patriotism. Now, we can have plenty of paper. It has no value. But when you daily live solely for the accumulation of that paper, what happens? You are working solely for his agenda. Some people will neglect their families and children. They will neglect their communities and societies to get money. And the money that they get doesn't work for the agenda of them. All the money that we've had, Oprah, Michael Jordan, what has it done for our community? Nothing. But they're rich. They got a lot of money. And supposedly they have a lot of power. They don't have a lot of power. They got just as much power as you and I have. And they're using the power that they have for his agenda. And if they try to use this money to make black people more powerful, what they would find is they would be working for his agenda. Because That money only has value in how it works for him. Did y'all hear what I just said? How many black banks are there relative to European banks? So when you go to get this money to make something happen, who must accreditate you? So that means you got to go to him to get a loan, right? To make something happen. So now you have complied and you're saying that can't nothing happen. Ain't this deep? Can't nothing happen unless you go to him. All of the materials that are out here, the wood, all the elements, all of this is out here in the universe. All these human beings that have built everything. And we leave the bank sad. Because we can't make nothing happen. Because we didn't get no money. We get fired from our job. We don't have no money. And we automatically what? Feel that we have lost power. That we cannot make nothing happen. And it's so deep psychologically that when some people don't have money, in their own minds, they begin to match that consciousness. Get depressed. And begin to deteriorate physically. Because they feel like the loss of money was the loss of power. So they begin to just squirmish the power that they have to create and to be a participant physically in shaping the world that they want to live in. They say, well, since we don't have no money, there's nothing happening. That's a psychological illness that we have in our people. And that's us constantly giving our energy to him. Now, I said that because I wanted to address those people who really believe in capitalism, who constantly feel that money is power. And their energy given to the European is power. And is powering him and his facilities. So when they see that they're the power, when our woman see that she is power, it's not something that she gets from the European. That power is not something that she gets when she gets more money. That power is what nature gave to her. You follow what I'm making? To exist and to give birth to the new generation. But when she says, I don't want to deal with children, I want power, she has been completely what? Brainwashed. Because she already has power. And many women, I'll tell you, got a lot of money, but they can't have a child. Their body doesn't work in a way where it produces the power to push out a child. With all the money that they have. This is deep. So they have a miscarriage. But their power, they say we want to go out and get power. Because they don't realize that they're powerful. And the European is manipulating their minds to believe that power is something that you obtain. And that somehow he can help them become more powerful by what he gives them. And they've done the same thing for us. They do the same thing to the black man. So this is not just an attack on the black woman. We think that somehow we can get power from him. And by doing that, we give him all of our power. And we use none of it for ourselves. Now, let me bring that back to nation building. Let me bring that home. Because the capitalists will know what I'm talking about when they hear that. But what does power look like in nation building? Each one of us is power. We're not brought together because somehow us coming here to build that we will become more powerful. Our unification out of the true use of our power becomes the powerfulness of the group. Y'all hear what I'm making? But each one of us is a power. But in order for that to be, the power to be seen, in order for it to be experienced, that means we must be functioning in a particular manner. Because if you try to hook up some wires but the wires are touching improperly, you don't get power, do you? Does that mean there's no power in the wires? It's there, but it can't be conducted to what? Be distributed. So that means power in nation building manifests itself when we understand who we are and know ourselves as power. It's going to be heavy. We're not here to get power. We are the power. This is one thing that they do, they know in the police station, that a lot of us on nation building we have to figure out. They know they are power. Do you end up making? When they hold in this position, they're in a position of power. We want to get power. We don't recognize the positions of power. You see the difference? Let me give you an example. The revolution. A lot of people think the revolution is going to be, we're going to go to war with the Europeans and something's going to happen that's going to change. That's what they think revolution is. But they don't know revolution is the maintenance. When you can begin to maintain the new world that you're bringing into being. Do y'all hear what I'm saying? And your consistent ability to maintain something new becomes the change of something old. It's like your car when you try to start it up. It struggles. But the revolution happens when it revolves, right? It gets to rolling, right? It's when it can maintain that, the ignition. When it can maintain that charge, the revolution happens. And the car moves. Y'all hear the point I'm making? Right. But it ain't till it get that, right? So it's not that our revolution is going to come, we're going to fight them. We're fighting them in continuously becoming consistent in the new world that we're bringing forth. Because you know what happens? When we think the revolution is fighting them, we fight them and then we beat them and nothing. And they said, well, since ain't nothing going on, I guess we'll rule niggers again. Ain't nothing else been brought forth. Ain't nothing else been laid. We just fought them. And now we back. Well, master, come on back. We didn't whoop your ass. We ain't figured out nothing. Come on back. I want to work some more. Do y'all hear the point that I'm making? So a real revolution, which is not just a constructive change, it's a constant implementation of constructive change. Do y'all hear the point I'm making? It's not just a complete constructive change, because it can go back. The revolution must become an evolution to a change, right? So that means that it must be a consistent constructive change. That's like somebody who said, and they do this all the time, they stop smoking cigarettes for a day. They say, I've quit smoking. I say, no, you haven't. You will only have quit smoking if you can say that tomorrow. And the day after that, and the day after that, and the day after that. So quit smoking is not an act. It's a constant process to the day that you die. They teach them this in the AA meetings. Giving up alcohol is not something that you can do in a day. It's the constant process that you will engage in to the day that you what? You die. So what is revolution? It's not just this cosmic radical change. It's the maintenance of a new consciousness. It's the maintenance of a new mindset that's constantly being projected. And when you fall off of that consistent maintenance, the revolution has just failed at that point. People don't realize that. So they're giving all their energy like in a casino. They want to put all this energy forth to win the big chips. To win at the big table, right? And they all building up their energy and investing their power into this one big change that's going to be the liberation of black people. Foolish. If they could take that energy and manage it, follow them upon a making, over a large period of time and distribute it in an organized manner, they can set themselves up forever. Is this right? That's like you can power something and get it going for a second. It's called like a shock. When people die and they want to shock them back in life, you can shock them and get them going for a second, can't you? But if you can't get it, not